Well, thank you for taking so much time to get an impression about the ashram life, and you're a pioneer of the Adventist ashram movement, if there is something like an ashram movement. Did you find out about the last 30 years whether
Yes.
there is something like an ashram movement inside the Adventist church?
Okay. Now, this whole idea of starting an ashram came to me when I was in Spicer College. One professor told me that people like me who come from a Hindu background, they need to have their training done in a Christian ashram, not in Spicer College. So that really touched my mind so much. Since then, I was thinking about ashram. Then I came across the book written by Stanley Jones, Christ of the Indian Road. I was very much impressed then. I said, here is a person told me about the ashram, and here is another missionary came from America and started the ashram and explained about how Jesus should be communicated in India through ashram. So I was so impressed. So since then, I said I should become part of the Christian ashram movement in India. So that's how this all started.
Were there any critical ideas when you started it about the Westerners trying to do something in India where only Indians can be experts in? So when Stanley Jones or any other missionary from the West says, okay, we use methodologies in India and we use that as a cloak, and inside it's really Christianity. So that must have been worrying you in the beginning.
Well, in the beginning, I was kind of conditioned, programmed in the Western Christianity, Western way of thinking. And that's what happened in the Adventist church when I joined. But here is a missionary who thinks differently and started to do something in India as a Christian ashram. So within the Adventist church, ashram is something very foreign to them, because Adventist church is naturally is an American church brought by the American missionaries to India, and they implemented everything according to what they did in USA. So they did everything what they thought the best for India. They did not understand the Indian religions, culture, spirituality. So to me it was quite different and new to me. So I decided I must give more thought to it and read more about the Christian ashram. So it was a kind of a journey in my mind to understand the whole idea of ashram movement. So in my mind, first I should start an ashram as an Adventist ashram. I didn't, think of it as a kind of a ecumenical ashram at that time, because I was part of the Adventist church, and so I could not get out of Adventist paradigm or thinking to think differently. But it took a long time to think differently and ashram for all group of people in India. It took a long time. Are from United States, and one person, Dr. W. Johnson, who came from the Australia. And when I came to Spicer, I couldn't speak in English. I was able to speak only in my own mother tongue.
Yeah.
It took some time for me to kind of learning to speak in English. Even in the class, I could not understand English very much for a year or so. But as the days went by, when I took classes like New Testament theology and several other courses, I was able to understand, but I always asked questions in the classes to clarify in my own mind whether I am understanding it right. Sometimes I disagree with the teachers also, and coming from a different background, I give my questions and try to understand whether they can answer my questions. Okay, but they simply taught what they knew, what they studied in the Western world. So all those years I studied at Spicer, I kept this one vision in my mind, that is, I have to communicate Jesus Christ to the Hindus through the ashram methodology. So that was very strong in my mind. So I finished my college studies in 1970, graduated with BTH degree, and I was appointed as a minister in a city church. Now, being a student was one experience. Then being a worker in an organization, you are paid. There it is different. I have to fall in line with the leader's agenda, not my personal agenda of sharing Christ with Hindus. So I had a lot of conflict with the administration, and I decided it doesn't work for me. I cannot realize my vision through Adventist church. So after 3 years, I left the Adventist church. I felt in order to communicate Christ to the educated Hindus, I have to understand their worldview, their religions, their philosophies. So I left the church work and I joined the University of Pune to study philosophy. So that's another a new beginning in my educational career. Yes.
Why did you think studying philosophy would really help you to bridge the gap between, let's say, Western, very authoritarian people that are coming to India as missionaries and your Indian approach? So how can philosophy in that situation help you to move into the next step?
Well, in India, if I have to present Jesus Christ, I have to present it intelligibly, because India is known for philosophy. Hindu religion is not just a religion, there is a combination of philosophy and religion. So if I understand the Indian philosophies, because there are so many philosophies, not one, then I can understand the presuppositions different Hindus have, not just one group of Hindus. So I had to study philosophy to understand the Hindu mind so that I can present Christ intelligibly. So that was my desire to study philosophy.
In that situation, did it help you? That is, did it satisfy you? Or did you still have the Adventist eschatology in your mind that you thought, okay, somehow I have to save inside of myself the Adventist eschatology and bring it together with Indian philosophy and somehow arrange these two very different ways of thinking so that you could still continue your life as a Christian?
Well, while I was studying in the university, I more or less, gave up eschatology. But I wanted to find out if there is something in Hindu philosophy or in Hindu religion, something similar to the eschatology, any ideas. That was one of my interests. But all the courses I studied, they were all mainly Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, and logic. This kind of studies only I did. I studied existentialism, one of the courses in the philosophy, and I was very much impressed by existentialism. And there are Christian existentialists and there are atheist existentialists. And when I studied the existentialism, I felt that I forgot Jesus Christ who captured my mind. And I came to a realization that Jesus, in his ministry, he was dealing with human issues, human struggle, human pain, here and now. Whereas in theology, I was dealing with all kinds of ideas brought by Western theologians in my mind that were not at all really useful in India. So I said, I have to look back on my Lord Jesus Christ and see how teachings of Jesus Christ and his life that I can adopt to reach the Hindu mind, also reach the existential issues in India people are facing. So that was a kind of a shift, okay? And that shift took place after I studied philosophy.